Now, British forces have seized a Syria-bound supertanker carrying Iranian crude oil off the coast of Gibraltar for violating European and U.S. sanctions. A spokesman for the Spanish Foreign Affairs Ministry says the seizure was done at U.S. demand. Joining us now with more on the energy markets, Bloomberg's Stuart Wallace. Good to have you with us, Stuart. How significant is this, then, this story around Gibraltar? Not the kind of thing that happens every day, these tankers being seized.
No, it is exceptionally unusual. I mean, in terms of the oil market, it probably doesn't mean a great deal because it's one cargo, and we already knew that Iran was really struggling to get its oil out there. I think it's probably a lot more important for Syria in the sense that, you know, this is pretty much a lifeline. More or less the only oil moving into Syria over the last year or so has been coming from Iran, and typically it's in very small batches. So it's also unusual from that point of view. The question now is, what on earth do you do with it? You know, you've got 2 million barrels of oil that you can't really do very much with. So that's going to be the key question. And what do you do with a tanker? First of all, they're going to have to establish the ownership. You know, who actually owns this enormous thing that must be worth tens of millions of dollars. And then what exactly is the process by which all of that is sorted out? So I think it's enormously interesting. It's incredibly unusual. For the oil price, probably doesn't mean that much. OK,
and what about the other oil story that we're tracking very closely? The Saudis and the Kuwaitis coming to some kind of agreement about contentious land ownership issues, I suppose, and who's going to get the oil out of the ground across their border?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a spat 4 or 5 years in the making. It's taken an awfully long time to resolve, and there's been some hiccups along the way. But what we're hearing is that they are very, very close to a final agreement on this. So that is hugely significant in terms of capacity, because it's about 500,000 barrels a day. Now, there is no suggestion that they're planning on starting to pump oil from there anytime soon. I think that both the Saudis and Kuwait is obviously part of OPEC. They have both agreed to keep their production at a certain level. So we're not going to get a sudden rush of oil, but I think economically and in terms of potential future production, it's enormously important.